Yes.
Hello friends. Hello friends. I'm Dr. Manas Ranjan Panigrahi from Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, New Delhi. Simca Higher Education Initiatives organizing a series of webinars on the theme Integrated Higher Education. In this crisis, COVID-19, Simca called trying for the continuous learning using various technologies and providing access to education. Majority of higher education institutions in Commonwealth Asia promoting and engaged in online learning. To provide quality online learning, the appropriate technology also required for interactive content delivery. In this regard, e-content design and development with special reference to outcome-based learning is one of the major concerns. Hence, today we are hosting the webinar on the topic e-content design based on outcome-based learning. I welcome you all to this webinar. It is my great privilege that to introduce our speaker, Dr. Shyamal Kumar Das Mondal. He is currently working in the Center for Education Technology at Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kharagpur, India. He received his PhD in engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. For his research and various academic activities, he has been received National Award of Young IT Professional in 2003 by Computer Society of India and National Award of TIDSP Challenge in 1997 by Texas Instruments, India. He was also awarded as Fellow of Japan Society for Promotion of Sciences in 2010. His research area of interest includes outcome-based curriculum development with 21st century pedagogy. Since 2009, IIT Kharagpur has been in the forefront of the project developing suitable pedagogical methods and various classes, intellectual syllabus, and research in e-learning. A flagship project under the NME ICT sponsored by Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. In addition to being the anchor institution, IIT Kharagpur developed a collaborative web-based tool for developing, monitoring, sharing, and administering outcome-based curricula. He was responsible for conceiving and successfully implementing this software tool and conduct workshops on outcome-based learning throughout India. In this regard, he has been offered a course, Outcome-Based Pedagogic Principles for Effective Teaching under Swayam program initiated by Government of India, which is called as Indian MOOC. I am happy to welcome you, Dr. Mondal, and thanks for accepting our invitation. I would like to inform you there are a huge number of participants right now in online. I would like to request all participants kindly mute your mic audio during the presentation. If you have any question or query, you please write on question answer box or text box. For the after presentation, the speaker will address to your questions and you can interact directly with them. Thank you very much. Now over to Dr. Mondal. Dr. Mondal, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So let's just share my PPT first and then. Okay. Good morning, all the participants, and thanks, Dr. Manas, for your kind introductions. And today morning we'll discuss about that e-content design based on outcome-based learning. As you heard that I am in that outcome-based learning, I have delivered many lectures on outcome-based learning, and I am very much keen to develop outcome-based learning and used in classroom also. So my lecture has two parts. One part is I first discuss about the general needs of education, and then I discuss about that what kind of e-content we should prepare for that to solve that needs. And then we talk about that how to design the e-content using outcome-based principle. So first, what are the challenges in 21st century education? What we are facing as a teachers? From my experience, I can write down that there are a few challenges which are very much facing by every teacher, whether you teach in higher education institute or school education, even if engineering education or college education, doesn't matter. First challenge is how to improve the student engagement. Most of the cases, if you find the engagement of the students in any educational program is very less. Means if you declare that okay, this is the let's example for a B engineering education, we have 8 semester engineering education. Most of the students said that okay, sir, 7 days before the exam is sufficient for clear the paper. So that means he or she engaged only 7 into 8 days, 56 days. So instead of whole 4 years, he only engaged that much of time to clear the exam, clear the degree. So why should we go for the 4-year degree program? So whether we are developing content, whether we are developing or teaching in a class, doesn't matter. You have to think about how to improve the student engagement. Very difficult, because many of the teachers also, you are complaining that most of the students come into the class, sit in the back bench and doing Facebook while sitting in the class. So as a teacher, you have to think, what should I do? What kind of content I deliver in the lecture? And what kind of interaction I do in the class by presenting that content. So all kinds of things we have to think about and use the technology so that student engagement is encouraged. Next one is how to equip students with skill, knowledge, skill and attitude. Today only knowledge, so just delivering information, if your content is content only information, doesn't serve the purpose of education. Because today we require skill. We have to develop the skill. So only delivering information is not sufficient today, whether you are taking an online class, whether you are taking an offline class, whether you are designing a content, doesn't matter. But only delivering information is not sufficient. So sufficient, if it is not sufficient, then what you have to do? You have to develop the skill on the students. So how do you develop the skill? I'll show you one picture. If you see these slides, there are 2 kinds of education. If I only deliver the information, it is first kind, where the students carry the education. All information you talk about, Schrodinger equation, Maxwell equation, all those things, you prepare a nice PPT and nice web-based content, nice video lecture, only describing what is Schrodinger equation, what is Maxwell equation, and that is burden to the students. Student has to memorize those things and pass the exam. So it is nothing but a student carrying the education. What do you have to make? You have to make the education should carry us. Fine. Think about, there is 2, let's a very simple example, 2 driving school. One driving school said that at the end of the training program, you will able to describe how gear work, how clutch work, how brake work, how steering work, all kinds of things. And another school is written down at the end of the training, you will be able to drive a car on the road. So first one is, we are carrying a lot of information, but without any skill, without any purpose. Second one is, that is required. The purpose of the training is to able to drive a car on the road. So unless I do it, Whether the gear work, how gear work, I know how the gear work, how the clutch work, doesn't matter. So how do you develop the skill? In long back, if you remember, there is a lot of debate on education system, and people realize that education is only for producing skill labor. Unless you develop the skill, then whole purpose of the education is gone. Suppose you are studying English honors. That's simple, English honors graduate. And if you are not able to write a letter to your municipal corporation regarding the repairing of the road, are you really studied English honors? So what is required is that as a teacher, whether I teach in the class, whether I develop a video lecture, whether I develop a web-based content, doesn't matter. I have to think how this will develop the skill on the learner. Not knowledge is information. Information is not necessary. Information is available in the Google. If you search in the Google, every information is available. Only it is not that how it converted to the skill. That is not available. How you convert the information to the skill, and what kind of skill is necessary for what kind of education system. So that is very important. So we have to develop the skill instead of knowledge, and we have to build the attitude also, not only skill, then and their attitude also. Today, education is not only that he know how this is work. That is not the education. He know how to design it. He know what is the implication of it in environment. What is the implication of it in society. He should develop his own ethics. So he know suppose this thing, many people know that, okay, if I do this thing, this is bad for the society, but still we are doing it. Why? Because our attitude is not built up. So how do you develop the attitude and skill while acquiring the knowledge? I'm not saying the knowledge is not required, but knowledge is essential. The knowledge is necessary, but not essential. So it is not sufficient, sorry, not a sufficient condition. Only knowledge is not sufficient condition. It is essential, but it is not sufficient. Okay. Now I come back again. How to allow continuous improvement in curricula, or suppose today you developed a content or curricula, whatever, it has to be continuously improved. Unless what will happen? That, okay, you developed a curricula, student will go through the curricula and people are saying, oh, this is obsolete. So how do you make a mechanism so that continuous improvement is happening? That is very much important. So what is the mechanism for continuous improvement? Next one, how to ensure reinforcement of learning. That examination system, assessment and evaluation is also part of content development. You cannot ignore it. Your assessment is reinforcement of teaching and learning. It is not that assessment to provide grade or provide, okay, you are able to answer 5 questions, so you are promoted to the next grade. People are saying that, okay, interactive content means there will be MCQ question. If I am able to answer 5 questions, okay, I know that things. Assessment is not only to know whether you know or not, do not know, not that. Assessment has to be reinforced teaching learning. Suppose I know that things, can I able to use that things in practical application? So it is not MCQ, I just design a who said this, why said this, when said this, and I am able to answer it and I promote it to the next. Not that. Whatever skill I have developed, I have to test whether I am able to apply. If you remember the Bloom's taxonomy, what is the definition of application level? It is not that you have to, you know P equal to MF, put P value, M value and A value and calculate certain value. Not that. You have to apply in a new situation. So given a problem, societal problem, you have to put your knowledge there and solve that problem. That is application. So examination or assessment Instead of examination, I will say assessment and evaluation is only for reinforcing teaching and learning, not for find out what student know, what student doesn't know. How do you reinforce the teaching and learning? Then how to ensure lifelong learning? Today, any learning, whether it is online learning, offline learning, doesn't matter. We have to develop the student's self-learning ability. How do you develop the self-learning ability among the students? Very important issue. Unless you develop their self-learning ability, the major part of that education system is not done. So it is not spoon feeding. Spoon feeding the student, it is not the requirement for learning. Learning requirement is that you have to encourage the students to develop their self-learning ability. Last one is how to teach a large class. Very important issues today. Suppose I am teaching today, I am teaching maybe, or maybe sometime online teaching can be scattered to millions of people, doesn't matter. But how to teach effectively? What is the problem in large class? If it is online, most of the people are dropped out. If it is offline, even in classroom scenario, if I have more than 100 students, most of the students will not come to my class. If you ask the teacher why that students are not coming to the class, teacher said, oh, I teach for the first bench, so middle bench thought it is very difficult, or last bench thought it is very difficult, so that's why they are not coming in the class. But as a teacher, what should I do in the class, or as a content developer, what should I do in the during the development of content so that everybody's interest is taken care of? In learning theory, what is the student-teacher ratio for best teaching, best learning? Teacher-student ratio for best learning. Maybe many engineering colleges teachers are there, they know that it is said 1:20. Why? Why not it is 1:30? Why not it is 1:40? What is the basis for designing that 1:20 is the best teaching student ratio? There is no basis. If you think about the learning theory, that why, what is the best teaching, when the best teaching happens? When the teacher-student ratio is 1:1. Why? Now every student or every learner has its own learning style and learning approaches. And that is also a function of time, emotion of the student, topic of the students, classroom environment also. So it is you can say the continuously changing function, learning style and learning approaches of the students. When the teacher-student ratio is 1:1, every time teacher modify his instruction as per the student learning style and learning approaches, because teacher is teaching only one student. So teacher is adapting. Now can you think, using the technology, whatever you can say, ICT in education, technology in education. So can I use technology to virtually create this 1:1 scenario? So that is the importance of the technology. Can I say that I'm creating a scenario using technology such that I'm creating 1:1 virtual teaching scenario? That is called personalized learning. Many people know that personalized learning. What is it? Is not that personalized learning means that okay, my software will model that the learner and deliver the content as per the learner requirement. Never said that. I should able to design the content. I should adopt a teaching learning methodology such a way that using technology, I'll create 1:1 scenario in my classroom or learning environment. So that is the use of educational technology. Educational technology is not a new thing, not a nothing interactive, all kinds of a jargon. Can we create that? Use interaction, use whatever you want. You have to create that scenario. how to create that scenario. That is very important. Next, I just few points I have written down. Okay, so reinforcement, I am not explaining that part, that examination system is to reinforce the teaching and learning. This slide will explain you how it is reinforced. Suppose you design a content or teach a class. What is your target? Every learner or every student must develop the goal why you offer this course. So those are the evaluation criteria. Okay, I just given one example that what is assessment and what is evaluation. Maybe confusion, many people have the confusion. What is assessment and what is evaluation? Many people say that examination system, whatever end sem examination or final examination is evaluation and class tests are called assessment. It is not true. Assessment is the process to gathering data about students' competence. Assessment is a process to gathering data about students' competence. So if I say that at the end of the training program, you will be able to drive a car on the road. So I have to design an assessment by which I can find out or I can gather data about the student's competence, whether the learner will able to drive the car on the roads or not. So this is the process of assessment. So all that examination, maybe quiz, project, assignment, your semester exam, annual exam, all are assessment process. And based on that assessed data, when you quantify the students' performance, you said these students get 60%, these students get 80%. That is called evaluation. So evaluation based on the assessed data or data gathered by assessment, when you quantify the student's competence or learner competence, is called evaluation. So it is not that, okay, this is I go, this student cannot pass, so I make the question paper very simple. Not like that. It is that what is your goal? You have to assess whether the students or learner has reached the goal or not. And if it is not, then the reinforcement of teaching learning come into the picture. So when you design a content or you take a class, it is not one way. There should be a feedback loop. What is the feedback loop? If I find out 80% of the learner is failed to assess or failed to achieve certain goal, then as a teacher, I have to take a feedback. Either my teaching learning process is wrong or the goal which I set is not achievable. So I'm not detailed discussing on this assessment and evaluation because this is another topic, because designing a question paper and designing an assessment process, evaluating the assessment, all are another topic. I'm not discussing on it. Okay. So, but I'll give you that assessment is also a part of your content delivery or content development, both. Okay. Now I come to the content development. How do you do that? Improve so what I have to do? I have to improve the student engagement. So how do I can improve it? Improve student engagement by promoting self-learning. Most of the students, if you ask today, or whether who are the online learner or offline learner, if you ask them why you not read in the hostels or home before you attending the lecture, they said, sir, I don't know what the lecture will cover. Second question is that when they see the lecture or whether it is offline video or online video or content, they found this is available in the Google. So they thought, okay, I can do it, I can learn it before the exam. So engagement becomes zero. So improve student engagement by promoting self-learning. Before the class, before they attend the course, whether it is offline or online, a student or a learner must know what is his target, his or her target. that promote the self-learning, so that within limit, learners are allowed to follow their own space and learning style. I'll again discuss in details when I discussing the framework. To equip with students with 21st century attitude and skill, learning to learn, communication skill, working in a group, all soft skills are also important during domain learning. So if I design a e-content for AC machine, I have to think about how do I improve the students' learning to learn, communication skill, working in a group, many things, ethics, all those things I have to take care. Learning resources should support different learning style and learning approaches in large classroom. It is not, oh, it should be very much interactive. If you make it more interactive, maybe you destroy the student imagination power. Think about when you're watching a movie, when you read a story and when you watch the movie which is based on that same story, there is a difference. Then include adequate number of practice problems, so that students try to solve it and find out what is their competence level. Continuous improvement in curricula from industry expert or industry or expert or the domain expert. So all can continuously improve the curricula. So your curricula is not static, or your content is not static. Your content will be dynamic. So how do you make it dynamic? So what we have designed, that is based on outcome-based learning. That the content design framework is based on the principle called outcome-based learning. So just few slides on what is outcome-based learning. If you see the picture, I think all of you, all that learner know that this picture. I think everybody who have joined in this webinar, everybody read this book, I think so. So what is the philosophy of this picture? The philosophy of the picture is said, a girl standing on a junction of a path, and he asks the cat which path she should take. Cat reply, where you want to go? Girl said, I don't know. Cat said, take any path, doesn't matter. So what is the meaning? Unless you know your target, which path you follow, doesn't matter. What is happening today in the education system? Today, again, we are saying that today in lockdown situation, people are saying that, okay, require online classes. And because why? Because we have only the class book. We do not know what is the target of the students. They have to complete the books. What is the book meaning? What is the, after completing the book, what the student has to do? That is not mentioned. So unless you mention the target in the content, for which purpose you design the content? Think about, you design a 1 hour video lectures. Students are without any, student does not know what at the end of the 1 hour lecture, what he gained. That is not mentioned. So you start watching, after 10 minutes, oh, this is useless. Maybe it is very useful 12 minutes to 18 minutes, but student not gone there. So unless you specifically mention what is the target of this goal, after completing this instruction, what you able to do, then the interest of the students will burn down. So that's why this is called outcome-based education. Here, the job of the teacher is to define the goal. What happened? Define the goal and path. What happened? Is it stopped?
Please continue.
Okay, continue. So teacher has to define the goal and guide the student or mentor the student to reach the goal. So your e-content, whatever you design, there must be a goal and there must be a guide to reach the goal. Not that only the content, not that. There will be a goal and there will be a guide to reach the goal. So that's why we said role of the teacher is not to deliver information. Role of the teacher is to guide and mentor the students to reach the goal. So I come to the direct. Just a minute. So I just describe the framework. So when you design any learning material, whether it is book, whether it is web page, whether it is video, there is a 3 point. First one is called learning objective or learning outcome. This objective is nothing but an outcome. Outcome means when the learning objective written using ISD's principle, instructional system design principle, which is specific, measurable and achievable, that becomes learning outcome. So learning outcome, learning material and assessment questions, all are closely related. Learning outcome must be supported by the content. So content is the path to reach the learning outcome. Assessment is the test whether a learner reaches the learning outcome or not. So all those 3 things must be interlinked. Based on this principle, this framework is designed. So that there will be a course name, course, maybe subject, maybe training material, whatever the material. So there will be a title of the material. Then there will be an overview. What is overview? Overview, many people say it is about the coverage of the content. It is not coverage of the content at all. It is coverage of the content, but also it should include the motivational part. Why learner read this content? Why learner watch your video? Why learner watch your e-content? So all things, not only coverage is sufficient. Unless I watch this, what will happen? That is students or learner motivation. You have to include motivation part also. So overview included 2 things. First is motivation. Second paragraph is the coverage of the material. Second is outcome. At the end of this material or end of this video, end of this interactive material, what should I able to do? What a learner will able to do? That is very important. Unless you define that, learner will not engage. Then once you set a target, there must be a test item by which I can test whether I reach the target or not. So that's why every outcome must be linked with problem. Link, not that I have given the problem. Every problem must be designated to the outcome. Maybe one problem scattered to many outcomes, doesn't matter. So one test item can scatter to more than one outcome, doesn't matter. But for every outcome, at least one problem should be there. Unless how you are encouraging self-learning ability. Then a course consists of module. Modules means chapter. You can say that. Or unit. Many people say it is called unit. So a course consists of module or unit. Every unit has its overview. Again, why he has to read this unit? Or how this unit, how this chapter fit into the content. It is not that, okay, this chapter describes this is not like that. How this chapter fit into the course, that is called module overview. Then module learning outcome. Again, what is the goal of this module? And once you define a goal, there should be a problem which is linked with the goal. Then module learning strategy. What is module learning strategy? It includes the path. So suppose I want to learn this module. I'll give an example. So what are the material, video lecture, animation I have to follow to achieve this goal? So you may give a text material, you may give a video material, you may give a animation material, you may give a interactive material, doesn't matter. It depends on, suppose I shoot for, as a learner, I shoot for text material. So I choose text material. As a learner, I prefer video material. I choose video material. But pointed, not that you watch this video, read this book, not like that. That's why it is in module level. To achieve the module, this module, which chapter, which page to which page, if it is text. If it is video, which video link, which time to which time. That you have to mention in here. Then a module or unit consists of several lecture, or you can say a small concept. So a lecture, or you can say this concept, has summary, has a outcome, and if there is an outcome, there will be a problem, and then there will be a lecture video or lecture material, whatever. That is 15 to 20 minutes. Why it is? Because if you come to the class or if you give a 1 hour video, people will say it is useless. So goal is already defined. So goal means concept. Lecture goal means lecture concept. So you have to describe that concept, not you can say that I have to genesis of the concept, all kinds of things to do. No. This is the concept and this is the concept description. That is the video only. Only the concept, nothing else. Then when you deliver this material, when you develop, complete material is developed, if it is used for teaching purpose, let's for teaching purpose. So what do you say? You said the students that entire material is available to you. Like that today lockdown situation. People are searching for Zoom, Google Meet. Why? Because the student does not know what to read. Because our curricula doesn't, or syllabus or material has not developed like that way. What it is developed? Some topic, one book, maybe 300 pages book. That's why students are searching for what teacher said in the Zoom. Now instead of that,
you have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay, instead of that, if you think you design the content like that way, so before they come to the class, they know, or going to the document, they know, okay, those are the concepts I have to develop, which is broad level, which is course level. Those are the concepts can be developed if I develop this concept, this concept, this concept, and those concepts can be developed using this material. Now come to the teacher intervention part. Teacher will say that tomorrow I will connect with you Zoom or Google, whatever, for only 20 minutes to clear your doubt, nothing else. Or he can say that please send me your doubt in a text or audio format, I will clear your doubt. So think about all these things is available, means this is available in an online platform like this. Because I do not have the time, so I skip all those things. So like this kind of platform I have developed, we have developed this kind of platform where entire material structure is available. Okay, problem is available. Now this can be shown by the students and he know that, okay, this lecture I have to develop this concept. So here, if suppose you are the class teacher of that concept, you may not be sufficiently convince the students to develop that concept. Then student can go for other teachers also. Whole world is open to him. So he can develop the concept from other sources. Doesn't matter. But he know how to develop this concept. Similarly, what I said, continuous improvement of the content or curricula. Suppose today you develop a static content, after 1 year it is obsolete. Now what here I am saying, there will be online feedback. Suppose I write down the outcome and there will be an add command. Now industry said after 1 year, this outcome, this kind of skill is obsolete. Better you teach this kind of skill. So I can modify my skill. Some of your ex-student can say, sir, this is the better material for learning this module. He can add it. Some of the industry experts said, this is the case study which is fitted for this kind of course outcome. He can add it. So it is an interactive continuous improvement platform where a content initially developed, it will be evolved for its betterment. And every time I get an updated content. And since if you, this is one part, if you integrated this with assessment and evaluation process, correct assessment and evaluation process will enable you design the correct test item. Most of the cases we found designing of the question is very problematic. Many questions are describe this, define this, or who said this, when said this. So without knowing that what I want to test it, we design the questions. But since your test item must be test the outcome, that's why this kind of question is not allowed here. So it is a complete training if I provide it to you and you develop this content for your own course and available in a web page or web, let's say it is an interactive platform, and then anybody can add comment, you can upgrade your things. So all time the content is remain, you can say the updated. Okay, so I'll stop here, just giving this brief, you can say that it is nothing but a brief overview of the design things. There are a lot of things you have to know, how to write down the outcome, how to design the content, how to design this kind of question paper, all those things is necessary. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mandal, your very nice elaborated presentation, and it's really required this kind of knowledge for each and every teacher, those who are entering into the online education system. So we received a few questions here in my question box. Maybe just I can ask you this question, then I will move towards the people, those who are raised hands. You can look into this questions which is I received. Yeah, there are very important questions I will raise. I will not go for the all and each and every questions. Well explained. Okay, right. One question I found here in the and no, this is some questions are, these are the not questions, the compliments I got from the different here. Okay, it's all right. Let me go to person those who raise their hand, and I can see here Dr. Ashok Bhaskar. Ashok Bhaskar wants to ask you question probably. I allow Dr. Ashok Bhaskar. Ashok Bhaskar, are you there? Maybe I can go to KK Maithili. KK Maithili. KK Maithili.
Audio is not unmuted, I think so. KK Maithili.
They need to unmute their audio. Yeah, I unmuted. KK Maithili, if you want to ask question, you can just unmute your audio and ask question. Maithili, please ask question. Hello. Dr. Sushant Raul. Dr. Sushant, if you want to ask question, you can ask.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Please.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please ask your question.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, it is a very good lecture and very informative for all of us. Thank you very much. Sir, I am from Amity University, Lucknow campus. Okay. Sir, yes, sir. My question is, actually, you have mentioned during your presentation that assessment and evaluation. And
yes.
Evaluation, you have mentioned that it is a quantifiable of data that is called evaluation. Sir, if this will be the evaluation, then what about the measurement? Because
Now, measurement is called assessment. When you suppose you make a question paper to
Yes, sir.
test whether the student will able to answer it or not, that is
Okay.
called assessment. Once the
Sir.
student answer it, many answers the student has given, many answers student cannot give. Based on
Yes,
that data, when you say the student competence is 80%, that is evaluation.
Sir, whenever we are getting the quantitative data, for example, you have mentioned that a student has scored 60 out of 100. That means simply we would say the student has scored 60. So that would be the measurement. But when we will
No.
compare with some standard or something, and when we will give the value judgment, I think that would be the evaluation.
No. The answer is that suppose in your course you have a 6 goal. Okay.
Okay,
Suppose
sir.
you design a course, there will be 6 skills student has to learn. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now out of 6 skill, 4 skill are tested by NSEM, 1 skill is tested by assignment, 1 skill tested by your that mini project.
Okay, sir.
Now all assessment data will be used to quantify the student's competence. So out of this 6 skill, if a student is able to achieve only 4 skill, then what should be his percentage? 4 by 6 into 100.
Okay.
His
Sir,
competence is 4 by 6 into 100.
okay, sir. Sir, thank you. One more thing. Sir, nowadays we are talking about assessment for learning, assessment of learning, and assessment as learning. Sir, would you mind
Yes.
to define this?
Okay. Now, if you see my slide, I have not explained it,
Okay, sir.
that assessment for learning is your class test.
Yes, sir.
Suppose, think about a scenario, you are taking a course and most of the students are unable to achieve the outcome number 3, 4, 5 at the end same.
Yes,
Now
sir.
the time is gone. You do not have a time to correct those students. So
Okay.
instead of taking that NSEM, can I track them their misconception? So that is called periodic assessment. That is
Yes,
called
sir.
assessment for learning.
Yes, sir.
What is that periodic assessment? So what is the purpose of your class test? Is not to provide marks to the students. Purpose of the class test is to find out the students' misconception and provide a remedial lesson so that their misconception is removed.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why it is called assessment for learning. And another is called assessment for evaluation.
Assessment.
That is, you have done for quantify. And another is for assessment for teachers. In the feedback rule.
Sir, what about assessment as learning?
Assessment as learning is that assessment as learning. So that means whatever that assessment I have made, suppose, okay, suppose you take an exam and you find out at outcome number 2, 80% students are not attending. Okay, at the end. So what you can say? Either that as a assessment, as a teacher, you are failed to develop that skill on the students. That means your teaching learning process for that skill is not correct, or the target you have defined for that to achieve is not achievable.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this is
Thank
the
you.
learning as assessment. So when like the teacher learning, there is a feedback rule. You have to change your instruction. That is called effectiveness. To evaluate the effectiveness of the instruction.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor
Thank
Rahul.
you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And Dr. Papia wants to. Dr. Papia?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manas sir, and thank you, Dr. Shamal Kumar Das Mandal. It was a very informative and enriched session, sir. I was really looking forward to something like how to develop e-content. My humble question is, in case of hardcore humanities subject, like I teach education, MA in education. So in that case, if I make a module of, say for one
Sorry.
Papaya, your audio is not clear. Your audio is not clear.
Evaluation procedure in
Yeah.
evaluation procedure. Like we have essay type of questions, we have short answer type. We just answer. Okay, am I audible now? Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
got your
audible now?
question.
Am I audible now, sir?
Yeah.
Yes,
Am I
yes.
audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so my question is, yes, can you please of humanities subject, if I go for e-content development of any of my MA education paper, so what will be my choice of evaluation process?
Okay. So it is the evaluation process. So whatever the subject you taught, there will be at
Yes.
the end of the subject what skill you want to develop on the students. So if you are able to clearly
Okay.
write down that things, then your
Okay.
questions will be on that only. You cannot
Okay.
ask next questions, okay, which is not related to develop that skill. So when you ask that, when you want to evaluate the students' competence, then you have to design the question paper which is linked with your course goal. You cannot say, okay, 30 question will be very easy, 30% marks will be very easy, 40% marks will be moderately difficult. There's nothing called that. This is a criteria-based evaluation. So in criteria-based evaluation, nothing difficult, nothing easy.
Okay.
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 So you have to
Okay.
design
Okay.
your test item related to your outcome. Nothing else. If your question is not related to outcome, then it cannot evaluate the students.
Okay. Okay.
If it is not designed like that way, what will happen like today? The grade is today, student competence is not correlated to skill.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Papaya. Thank you very much. Jagyasini wants to ask question. Jagyasini. I unmute you, please. Jagyasini, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. My question is, in the session you told about 21st century educational system, creating 1:1 virtual scenario.
Yeah.
1:1 means here? Please clarify.
1:1 means teacher-student ratio.
Ratio. One student and one teacher ratio. In
One student and one teacher.
How it is applicable in e-content?
Yes. E-content, how it is applicable? In case of e-content, I am saying the philosophy of the 1:1 teacher. What is the philosophy? That learning style and learning approaches must be adopted as per the content delivery will be adopted as per the learning style and learning approaches. That is the 1:1 philosophy. So when you develop a content, you have to think about any learner when it learn it, he must feel that his learning style and learning approaches matches with the content. Can I explain a little bit more? Like that, suppose you developed a very easy content, then the good learner will say, oh, this content is useless. If you developed a mediocre content, then good learner will say, oh, this content is average. So if it is very tough content, then most of the learners say it is a very this is a very tough content, so we should not learn it. So what we have to do, if you see in my structure, I said module learning strategy. So each of the module learning strategy, you have to include all kinds of content, not only for one content. You have to design the content, good content for the goal, receiving the goal. If you mention the goal, some good student can reach the goal by 3 months. Average student can take it 4 months. Mediocre student can take it 6 months, doesn't matter. But unless you make the goal clear, then the good student also lose interest. Bad student also lose interest. Mediocre student also lose interest. So I am saying it is a learner side learning, not teacher side learning. What learner want to learn, they can learn.
Thank you very much, Jagyasini, asking this question. Thank you, Dr. Mandal. I received one question in the question answer box. That is Kalpana Chavan asking this. I'm just reading this question, Dr. Mandal, for you. When we develop the outcomes for a module, simultaneously, can we develop assessment? Also,
Yes.
can I have rubric for assessment help? How many outcomes are expected? Only cognitive ones or affective ones too, but they are not measurable. Please.
Okay. Now, yes, if you are interested very much on the assessment rubrics, then I'll recommend you to see that my lecture on accreditation and outcome-based learning in SWAYAM platform. Yes, you are very true. There will be assessment rubrics. In module level outcome, course level outcome, they are different. Module level outcome are the outcome which is developed within that module. And course level outcome, holistic view on the course. Most of the content today, if you see, are missing this kind of philosophy. We have developed the content module wise, but we never said how do we integrate all the modules. So your course outcome actually the integration of all modules. If you see, many of the university are asking questions that answer any 5 out of 8, no? And all 8 questions are come from 8 modules. So students can only learn 5 modules and answer 100%. And if your university pass mark is 30, then think about only 21% of the syllabus the student know, and he promoted to the next class. Then his whole learning is useless. So that's why it is a very scientific approach. You can develop the assessment rubrics, how much weightage you can put in a particular questions. That also come from assessment rubrics. So I am not detailed discuss here assessment rubrics. So that is called attainment of your course goal. How to measure the attainment of the course goal? That is also one topic.
Thank you, Dr. Mandal. One more question I got. A.R. Vimal Raj. He's asking, let me read a question for you. Do you think customized online course method can be more effective than classroom teaching method?
Yes, it is. Only see the in classroom teaching method, only extra things is that teachers motivated to the students. In online teaching method, only that portion we are lacking. How do you motivate the students? If I have an interaction with the students one-to-one, I can motivate the students on that way. But if I design a content such a way that some motivation part is also included, then online teaching is better, because it is not that it is not surrounded by the 4 walls. It is open. So online education in that way, it is very, you can say that very essential, because in long run, if you think about our education, the education will be only 4 wall education. At the age of 56, may I want a degree on electronics and telecommunication engineering? If I have that skill, if I know for BTech electronics you require this skill. If I develop the skill and some government agency verify you have that skill, then I am eligible as a BTech student. So that's why this is the online education has that notions. Still now, suppose when you are designing a lighting circuits for your kids, still now you can watch you can search in the Google, find out the sequential circuit design. You can design the circuits. So that is also skill.
Thank you very much. One or two questions maybe we will take. I would like to Mr. Dr. R. Bhavaneshwari. R. Bhavaneshwari wants to ask question.
Myself.
Yeah,
Service.
please.
Service. Sir.
Please continue.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I'm audible, sir?
Yeah.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, we have to prepare e-content using the open resources.
Yes.
I let me know the list of open resources which will be very effectively we can make a e-content.
See that in last lecture, previous lecture of Kushal Bhagat, he has mentioned the list of open.
Let
open
me
resources.
know the available open resource.
Okay, I will give you another idea that copyright is only for when you copy the content. Copyright is not valid when you just provide the link. And there is a many sites. If you see the Kushal Bhagat site, in the last slide, he mentioned many source of open resources where you can get some material. Or you can search in Google, there is many open resources. Only problem is that which resources are applicable for your.
Yeah, thank you very much. Indrani waiting for a long time. Indrani, please, you can ask your question. Yes, Indrani. I think Indrani is probably
Yes, sir,
facing audio problem. Yeah,
I'm there.
please, Indrani.
Yes, sir. It's a very motivating one. I heard the whole session, though I think I am not visible to you due to some camera problem.
No problem.
Sir, actually, yeah, my question is that our learners, as I am from Assam, our learners are not actually motivated towards online learning. So we try to provide our learners at this pandemic situation to give online learning as much as possible through live classes or through other PPT modes. But how we can motivate our learners towards this online learning system? How can you suggest some kind of valuable suggestions towards providing motivated classes, or how we can motivate them towards taking this online classes?
Okay, so for this answer, I will just recite a poem, Bengali poem.
Yes, sir.
If you
Okay,
read
sir.
that Sukumar Ray, have you know Sukumar Ray? Sukumar Ray written a
Yeah,
poem.
I heard his name.
Sukumar Ray written a poem that I just recite first Bengali, then I explain it in English. That Biddha Bojai Bau Mosai Chori Suker Bote Majire Kano Bolte Pari Sujji Kano Ute. Means a learned person ride in a boat, he asking many questions to the boat driver, that are you know how the sun is rise, how the moon is rise, how the tide is come, all kinds of questions. But the boat driver always said, no sir, I do not know. Then the learned person said, oh, you don't know anything. Then suddenly there is a strong calm in that river and that boat supposed to sinking. Then that boat driver asked the learned person, are you know swimming? Then the learned person said no. Then the boat driver said, your life is hell right now. So that means only way you can motivate the students is skill. Can you define that, okay, today I am taking this lecture, by this lecture this skill is developed? Unless that is defined, you have to told the student, okay, solve the differential equation. Student does not know why they are solving differential equation. Are you able to specify that things? Unless you solve differential equation, you cannot do this thing. That is first you have to motivate. Before you giving the lecture, you must clear what student to do. Unless student will not come to your class. This is the common tendency of the human people.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The one only last question we will take from Mr. Tulsi. Mr. Tulsi, you can ask your question directly. Are you able to hear me, Mr. Tulsi? Let me read his question. He has written in the question box. Can we have an examination system wherein all the students have to create at least one e-content module where we give few marks for the same? I don't know in which context, because question he has written. So that's why I invited him to speak his own way, but audio may be not reaching to him. And but question is this, he has written.
I give an interesting answer of this. Many times, if my personal experience I can share with him, many times I ask the student prepare their final semester question paper. Many times I also ask the students. So there is 100 students in the class, they will prepare 100 question set. Preparing a question also they require skill about the course. Unless they know the about course, they cannot prepare a good questions. So many times once you cover the topic, you can ask the student prepare this kind of framework, that prepare a content and content related questions.
Thank you very
that.
much.
That is also one kind of learning.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mandal, and time is very less we have, otherwise it is very interesting talk, and so many of interaction we are having, and I am receiving question answer box. It is almost 64 question answer box we have received, and 99 chat box we have received various compliments, as well as some of the queries and questions to you. More than 350 people has been attended your webinar, and it is really interesting and very nice webinar. It is I extend my gratitude and thanks to you, sir. You spend your valuable time with us. And at the same time, I also extend my gratitude and thanks to all the audience and participants attending this one, this webinar. And I found some of the people, they are facing to not to log into this webinar because of they are forgotten where their mails are available. I request everybody, whenever you are registering, you are receiving a mail, so that you can just keep immediate effect to marking it is important of your mail, so that the day of the registration, day of the login, you can get the chance to log into the webinar. And thank you very much joining with us. And again, we will meet with another episode. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.